Welcome back to Dungeon Defenders Live Quest for Completion. This is episode 2. It's been about 2 months. Sorry about that, but I'm on break and I can finally record. So, quick disclaimer before we get into the episode. At the start, I will be explaining a few things about Moonbase, but if you already know Moonbase and its secrets and mechanics, it's probably not worth watching, so you can skip ahead to a chapter later on. But if you don't, I'll explain it now. So, we're doing Moonbase. It's going to be on hardcore, and we're doing it for the Fish in a Bowl pet. You get this every time you complete the map by doing the secret. And these pets roll very, very well, even on lower difficulties. So these pets can have up to 600 in any given stat, and you can upgrade them all the way up to 500 in any given stat. So that's what we're here for. Now, how do you get the pet? So it's a secret reward pet, and to do that, you're going to have to hit some secret buttons. One up there, and one down there. So to get this one up here, if you're on a regular character, you got to jump in this thing, go in there, and then boom, hit that. If you're on a summoner, you can just jump on top of that crystal and float all the way across. The other button is just right down here, both fairly easy to get. Once you've pressed both of those buttons on the southern bottom side of the map, you will have this door over here open, which will also have its own locked door and a DDR machine. On this machine, do either yellow or blue difficulty, and try to score, I mean, bare minimum is above, I think, 40 to open that door on the left, but try to score at least 100 or so on your first attempt on this machine, because this machine also drops mana, and we're going to need mana because we're actually going to be doing our entire build in the first wave, and there's normally not enough mana to do that unless you score 100 or higher on this machine. So yeah, practice on this as much as you need to where you're able to score 100 or higher on your first attempt doing this. There we go, 150. That's about 2,000-ish mana from the machine, which is enough to do the whole thing. And the door over here opened. Now you have access to the fish in a bowl and these 4 extra chests for even more mana. And there you go, right? That's how you get the fish in a bowl. But I said earlier, we're going to be building everything on the first wave. This isn't just for convenience, this is because it's necessary to do the build that I have in mind. So to show this, I'm going to build a few auras. So the thing is, if you're placing down auras or traps, you can press the minus button on your keyboard or the plus button to increase or decrease or increase the size. So here we have 2 auras, and I'll show you guys the other mechanic of Moonbase. So normally, if your crystals get damaged or if your crystals get destroyed, any crystal at all, you lose. But on Moonbase, you can have up to 2 out of the 3 crystals get destroyed. So pay attention to the top right. You can see our maximum DU is going down as these crystals are getting damaged. And when they get destroyed, they're going to release a shockwave that kills everything nearby. And that shockwave death thing includes your towers. Boom. But, as you can see, this thing right here, this aura, didn't get destroyed. Hello, Orc. And that's because it wasn't in the blast radius of the crystals. Yes. So we're going to be taking advantage of that. What it basically means is that we can just pick one of these crystals to have like a super fort around, and we are also allowed to have gigantic auras and traps at the same time, which means that Djinns aren't really an issue, and regular mobs are pretty easy to deal with, because we have 105 DU for a single crystal. Oh, also, extra thing, the reason we're doing this crystal in the middle, which I might not have said earlier, is because this right here and this right here are the only choke points that enemies go through. No enemies will go through this area except for the Djinns, and you don't really have to worry about them. Oh yeah, Djinns, they can target any tower that you have, including traps or auras, and they'll just destroy them after a while of beaming them down like you saw earlier. They're really annoying, but not really a problem with this. So yeah, here's what we're going to be doing. On the first wave, you're going to be placing down all your towers. For any traps or auras, you want to be placing them by making them small. And after 2 of your 3 crystals have been destroyed and you only have 1 left, you're going to go to your gesture, pick up your tower with your tower movability, and make it gigantic once more. And that's pretty much it. After the first 1 or 2 waves, you make your auras gigantic, you just upgrade everything, and you're good. The other extra mechanic we'll be using in this episode is tower stacking. I will include a video or a link or something in the description, maybe an explanation, along with my script if I can fit it in there for how to do this. But basically, you just stack a bunch of towers on the same spot, and it'll save you a lot of DU, And on this map specifically, where there's giant shockwaves that kill everything in a certain radius, placing everything in a very small area is very good for keeping it alive. But yeah, that's everything I need to explain, and let's go straight to the build. And we're back. I hope that was pretty good for you guys. I hope my mic didn't cut off, and I hope the audio isn't bad. That's a lot of hoping. Okay, before I build anything, I want to show you guys the tower stats for all the characters we'll be using. I hope this isn't too fast. I'll go over the EV again. We're also going to be using our Jester, and mainly we're going to be using the Jester for the Move Tower ability. So as I explained in the previous info session thing, the crystals getting destroyed create a shockwave that destroys anything nearby, and on top of that they lower your maximum DU. So what we're going to be doing, press this button when you get this chest by the way, what we're going to be doing is we're going to put all 105 DU worth of towers down, and then once the two crystals are destroyed, we'll have, 105 out of 55 DU on a single crystal. So we'll be able to get through this map pretty easily. And to make sure that none of our... No, wait, no. Hold on. Rewording. Just to clarify here. This is like a one-time thing. Once you're at 105 out of 55 DU, any tower that gets destroyed, you can consider it as permanently gone. As you can see, we're going to be placing down our auras, and we're going to be making them small. If you didn't know you could do that, what you got to do is you press the button to summon the aura, and then you press the plus or minus button to make your auras small. I want them to be about this big and around these same areas. To be honest, for the first wave, the auras really don't matter that much, but it is really important to have them down. This aura right here, I've found it getting destroyed a lot, so you can make this even smaller if you want. But I'm just going to go with this and hope that it works out. And there we go. I think that won't get destroyed. That's it for the auras. Next up is going to be the traps. Now, I'm only going to be using the gas traps, but for you guys, you can use the proximity and inferno traps if you want. But I don't really think those are a positive use of your mana and or DU. For this gas trap right here, make it very small, like that small, maybe a little bit smaller, because I have seen that thing get destroyed so many times, and I don't know why. That's going to be it for the traps. Next up is the beams. The EV beams, there's not going to be that many. Mainly just, not mainly, only reflectors and buff beams. So one reflection beam right here. That should be 1 DU. You can make it 2 DU if you need to. But then after that, we're going to be placing one back here. We're going to be placing a buff beam back here as well. And then over here, we're going to place a reflection beam right here. And I think that's it. You might be wondering why we're not placing anything back here. It's because despite what it looks like, enemies do not go through this area unless they're like Jins or something. Enemies don't run through here. It's so weird. But it's very nice. Next up is going to be the buff beam right here on these stairs. Now for this specific one, place this reflection beam like this, right? That sided. And then the other reflection beams, as long as they cover the buff beam pretty well, they'll be good enough. So something like that. There we go. Now the reason we're placing it in kind of an awkward way is because the shock wave from that crystal over there getting destroyed is going to reach out to about this area where my mouse is highlighting. Highlighting? Yes. It's going to reach out to about there, so if we had it back here or something, all of our towers would get destroyed. Next up is going to be the last bit of building, which is going to be lightning towers. Now, I'm using autohotkey I'm using an autohotkey script to be able to stack towers. Normally you can't stack towers, but there's a little bug / feature. I'm not sure at this point, but everybody uses it, so I'm imagining they're not going to remove it. You can place down a tower, and then if you are quick enough, you can press the button to summon the tower and then spacebar at the same time, and that'll stack the towers on top of each other. So we're just going to be stacking a bunch of lightning towers on top of each other. Now, if you're quick enough, yes, but I'm not quick enough, and I'm too lazy to practice it a bunch, so I'm actually using an autohotkey script, which I will, I don't know what to do about the autohotkey script thing, because I know you guys are going to ask about that. I might link a video in the description on how to set up an autohotkey script. But anyways, we ran out of mana, so now we're going to get some more. Go over to the DDR machine, put it on blue difficulty, and do your best to get a high score. I'm not going to be talking too much while I do this, because I am bad at this. If you're wondering why we don't do the other difficulties, it's because they're too hard or don't give enough mana. There's no real set amount of mana that you need for this, but the more the better, really. Do, do. Okay, I scored actually pretty high. And because we have both buttons pressed... Oh, wait, no. Hold on. Because we don't have both buttons pressed, this door isn't open. But now that we have the mana, you can continue summoning your lightning towers. You're just going to be using lightning towers for the rest. Looks like we have a bit of leftover DU. I'm not sure exactly why, to be honest. I think I know why. I think we were supposed to place extra reflector? Yes. I think we were supposed to place extra reflection beams. Yeah, probably we want to place a reflection beam going straight across here. And then after that, I'll be honest, I don't know. But we have the three aura stacks, and the gas traps in the middle of them. That's the main thing that we need. Next up is our minions, and this is the last part of the build. The minions, I'm going to be showing you guys a bit of like end game strats. Yes. Basically, we're going to be using our minions for primarily support. So instead of using them for like, I don't know, a regular use, you know, instead of using the minions for something regular like, you know, dealing damage, we're going to be using the minions to body block. So we're going to make a wall of archer minions at the two entrance points. And then behind them, we're going to be placing spider minions and mage minions. So that's a good enough wall. You place two spider minions here, and then you place a mage minion on top of them like this, and like this. The mage minions will heal other minions and also players whenever they get low, which means that we don't really have to care about this area and they'll get repaired. And the spider minions are going to shoot spider webs over at enemies over here or anywhere around them really, and those spider webs will make the enemies take double damage. On top of it, like, I think they also slow the enemies down, although I'm not 100% on that. To do. Next is the second wall of archer minions. The amount of archer minions doesn't really matter that much, I've found, as long as they block the entrance. And then you want two spiders and two mages. Now, if you don't have the exact mana for this, L, I guess, but you can move the spiders forward a little bit and replace the archers with a spider or two. Or you can just use like one set of a spider and a archer. An archer? No, and a mage instead of two. But it's absolutely crucial that you have a mage there, and the spiders are also very helpful. As you can see, we have a bit of leftover mana, and with this mana, I'm just going to improve this wall over here. You don't really need to, but I have the extra mana, so I will do so. If you're not that good with the DDR machine, I would recommend that you just practice it every time you get in here. How do I get out of this mode? There we go. Alright, there's even more mana. Okay, well... Oh wait, I forgot, hold on. So the button, yes. The button up there, you guys should not have any mana issues. Yeah, okay. The button up here, that one, you can easily reach it if you're a flying class like the summoner. Just hold spacebar, and I think you can just reach it. Yeah, and also once you've been floating for a while, you get a double jump, and there you go. And then you can reach it up here. There's a beam here. Now, if you're not a floating class, what you can do is you can jump on this rim here, and then fall down here. Trust me, it won't kill you. You get launched up. You can press the button, or you can land on that railing, whatever you want. And now that bottom area is open. I'm not really going to be using the mana down there for anything, so instead, I'm just going to be running around and picking it up just to show you guys how much mana you can get. Also, that's the fishbowl down there, which is the main thing that we're here for. Fish. Take the fish. And now we'll get the fish as a bonus reward. Yeah, so I have 880 spare mana, which means that you guys should have more than enough mana to place all of your towers. Mainly important thing is to just get these walls set up, and then have at least one spider and one mage behind him. But yeah, I wouldn't upgrade anything. I would just keep your mana on you for now and start the wave. Don't kill anything unless it gets like, you know, through here. We're going to be wanting... Am I on hard? Yes. We're going to be wanting the other two crystals up there and over there to get destroyed. And then after that, we can mess around, basically. Oh, yeah. Jin. I hate this thing. God, look at it. Demon. I hate Jins so much. These are the worst enemies in the game. Okay, now we pray. We pray that this does not destroy any of the towers here. This shockwave reaches pretty far. Okay, it didn't destroy anything. Cool. So keep an eye out for it. If it destroys something that's important, like a buff beam or an aura, you can just restart. Alright, now then. Um, with the spare mana, and the extra mana as well, you go on your Jester, and you press minus or plus to cycle between buildings if they're stacked on top of each other. You're going to pick up the gas traps and all that, and just make them big boys. I want to get this in the buff beam range. Big enough? Yes, okay. And the same thing with the auras. Just make them gigantic once more. Just press many pluses. And that's basically it. After this point, you're going to be upgrading your buff beams first, then you're going to be upgrading your auras next, and then after that, kind of whatever you want. But I will likely be upgrading my lightning towers so that they deal extra damage. I'm not trying to place two similar auras together. There we go. This is why it's important to have a very high stat for your, or a very low stat for your range on your Jester, because if you don't have a very low stat on your range, sometimes it'll cause that issue, where like it says two auras are near each other. But yeah, now we have pretty much everything here being covered, and once we upgrade the central aura that's buffing everything, really, one more time if we can. There we go. Now, like, basically everything is covered with these auras, which means everything is moving slower, taking damage over time from the electric auras, and is weaker. And also has no elemental resistance, which is big. So at this point, pretty much the only things that can hurt you are the ogres, and those are being dealt with by every other tower that you have set up. Yes. I'm going to go down there and make sure that I grab the fishbowl pet. The chest rewards and things like that, you don't got to worry about. We're just here for the map and rewards. Oh yeah, there's also mini ogres that spawn. Wait, no, we already got the fish. Okay, sorry, I'm losing my mind. You can go through this black hole portal if you want. It'll take you here. Really weird area. Very strange. And it'll launch you straight through that propeller. Sometimes if you're unlucky, it'll just kill you. Oh. And right in here, actually, you can move around and stuff. It's kind of weird. Okay. There we go. Now, I'm going to make extra characters. I forgot about that. The reason I'm making extra characters, and specifically I'm making mages, is because I would like to get a nice weapon to use from this map. So for the last wave, the characters we're going to be having out are going to be our mage, initiate, and the 3 mages. That way we only get apprentice weapons, because I want to get ourselves a nice weapon to use for our Jester. And Jester, in case you didn't know, synergizes the best in terms of weapon DPS with mage weapons. So they're the ones that you want. And also this map's rewards for weapons, while not the best, are also pretty good. Pretty good. But there's nothing really interesting that's going to be going on. And these lightning towers will annihilate your guys' ears. So I'm going to skip forward to anytime something interesting happens, or anything along those lines, really. I don't know how the skeletons ended up here, but they did. Either way, the skeletons are just basically goblins, so you don't actually have to care about what they do. Oh, we got an achievement. That's weird. I don't know why we got that achievement. Oh well. Cross that one off the list. One other thing you guys can do if you're having the same issue I am here, where a... Wow, that's loud as hell. Where a enemy is just being a jackass. If you're on a Jester, you can put the Wheel of Fortune up and you can do a sword, and the big Ethereal Crystal. There we go. And that'll kill a % of enemies instantly. Doesn't really matter how much health they have. You can alternatively do sword, but that doesn't kill all the enemies, it just does a % damage to all the enemies. But yeah, I would recommend doing that the entire time throughout the waves. Personally, I'm a big fan of sword, crystal, but some people like doing only sword. Up to you. So that Jin just now, there was a Jin just now that was deleting my I think a reflector beam something here. Either way, that's bad. So if you don't have the DPS to deal with the Jins, or something along those lines, you can place a gas trap. You can move the gas trap. Oh, that's so loud. A little bit farther back. That way it'll encapsulate this entire area. But yeah. Oh, also we're getting Sharkins, which Sharkins don't really matter to us, but I didn't think we'd be getting them right now, so I might have lied about that at some point in this video. But to correct it, yes, you do actually get Sharkins on this map. And we're now on the final wave. So I'm going to be bringing in the extra characters. One thing to note, hold on, let me show you guys, is that when you bring in your character that built the lightning towers here, so like right here, for example, right now this lightning tower is doing 25,000 DPS. Yes. But if I bring in this character, it is now dealing 35,000, 33,000. I don't think it's that much of an increase as I'm thinking, but it's a very large increase in DPS. I think it's like 25%. There's a lot of them stacked on top of each other, so it's difficult to say like exactly what is doing what. But all you need to know is that it's a good DPS increase when you bring in your extra character, or specifically the character that built that tower. If it deals DPS, I don't know if like bringing in my EV would do anything here. Next up is the other one, and then one more. Frankly speaking, we're probably never going to be using these other apprentices, but we got them. Before, in that previous wave, I probably slowed down the video and showed you guys, but a ogre was like jumping up, potentially jumping past these minions here. This area has that happen a lot if you're not able to kill the ogres fast. In those cases, either DPS the ogre down with either the wheel or your own DPS. Wow, that is loud. Or if you can, just build more minions back here. Maybe another spider minion or something like that. But that can happen, and if it does, I think it should die fast enough that it won't matter, but it may hit the crystal a few times, which would be bad. But as long as nothing dies, I don't think it'll matter that much. Anyways, final wave, let's get into it. So what I like to do is, towards the start of the wave, I do the sword, do. Wow, that is so loud from the game, holy hell. And that kills a whole bunch of ogres. And basically whenever you can, to be honest, just do the sword, Etheria crystal, Eternia crystal. Yes, there we go, that's the word. Whenever you can. Also, these boys are now getting stuck, which is big because they weren't getting stuck before. This guy is stuck on the wall, being a complete jackass. Whenever we can, we're gonna hit him with the big slappy dappy sword, crystal. I have messed up. Crap. Crap. Wow, that is loud. I think it's even louder because there's these 4 characters that are like, you know, making it loud. But as long as nothing gets through, we're fine. You don't really need to repair these reflector beams or anything. They can really handle everything on their own, even without these reflector beams. These minion wells, I mean. Ow, that hurt. Because the mages will repair them plenty. Although they definitely do help. Okay, now we do it again. There we go. And now we're at the end of it. And you know you're at the end of it because there's just going to be a shite ton of Jins running around. Thankfully, Jins cannot damage your crystal. So, that's pretty much it. God damn, is it loud. You guys can't tell because I've probably either muted the game audio or turned it down to like 10%. But this is extremely loud. All these enemies and I think mainly the mages here making noises. Good lord. Ah, we once again have 2 Jins running around doing nothing. I'm going to show the other screens because dopamine. Sword, and crystal. And there we go. We've completed it on hardcore. And we all get our fish in a bowl pets. Oh, also Divine Intervention, because we got a godly item as a reward. The fish in a bowl pets. This one's pretty good. Quad pet. Um, this one's pretty bad. And this is really, really good. This is super, super good as a fish pet. I think this pet... Oh wait, no. This pet doesn't really have much of a use. I'll look through these later, and I'll tell you guys what I decided on. But let's look at the weapons. How do all three of these weapons have 25 max upgrades? Additionally, we got this thing. These usually aren't good, but they can be potentially good, but I wouldn't rely on it. And the weapons that you get otherwise, they might be pretty high stats, so it's definitely worth checking out. Same with the armors as well. You do get some armors, and wow, I mean, look at that, you know? So definitely worth looking through these, at least if it's your first time. Doo-doo-doo. Okay, that looks like that's it. I'm gonna go sort through the fish and things like that, and then I will come back to you guys once I have equipped the proper pets on all the characters. Oh wait, hold on. I should probably show the mana gain from this as well. A little bit more dopamine. There we go. Not that much mana really. But yeah, I'm gonna go look through the fish now, and I'll come back to you guys once I've equipped the fish and maybe tested out some of the weapons. I hope you guys enjoyed that little loot montage. It took a lot longer to make than you'd think. It's really annoying to edit. It's not fun either. And learning to edit is really, it's even worse. I don't know, maybe, maybe I'm just bad at editing. That might be the case. But, yeah, either way, I hope you guys enjoyed that end result. I plan on using them more in the future, so if you have recommendations for how you'd want to change it, or what you want to add to it, or how you'd want to see it pop up, stuff like that, definitely put it in the comments. I read every one of your comments, and if you want to reply, or your question is kind of asking for a reply, I probably will. So yeah, I'm doing a voiceover, in case you couldn't tell. I have a small little announcement that'll lead to a bigger announcement later. Basically, next video, I'm planning on making a pretty decently large announcement at the start of it. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. The long and short of it is that I've mapped out the path that we need to take to get very high stats very quickly, and all we need to do is test out the maps. Again, I'll explain more about that in the next video. At the start of it, I was thinking about having it here in this middle commentary section, but I think it's a pretty important announcement because it does include other things as well, so I don't think it would fit for, you know, the middle of a video when I'm not exactly sure if people are paying attention. Yeah, it's it's about the series in general, and it's nothing bad. It's not going to be. I'll address the issue of me not having uploaded for 4 months. Um, but yeah, and for the next video itself, expect that to be uploaded within the next 2 weeks. Ideally, the sooner the better. Um, Again, I do have everything mapped out for what I want to do with the series, at least for like getting the stats. So it should be pretty easy to just make the next video. I'll just have to test out a few builds and that's it. But yeah. Oh, also, last thing, in case you guys are wondering how many more times we're going to do Moonbase, because this is the second time, I'm thinking another 2 or maybe even 1 more time should be enough to get a good enough fissionable for all of our characters. Right now, the only goal with Moonbase Hardcore is to get a solid stat pet for all of our builders. Don't really care that much about our Huntress, she doesn't matter that much. But for all the other characters, that is what we're going for. I might have explained this at the start, but the fissionable, it can hard cap at 600, so like you can get it as a drop at 600 in any stat, and you can upgrade it up to 500 in any stat. And on Moonbase specifically, it has really, really common, like high quality pet rewards in terms of stats. So I really don't think we should have to farm that much to get like a few more quad 500 fissionables. But we'll see. As long as we get kind of close to that, I'll be fine. And I don't want to spend too much time here. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. That's that. Um, these videos are going to be shorter in general now because I'm using a lot more cuts. It's going to be me doing like, you know, the first build and explaining the things about the map potentially, and then doing it, and then some loot, and then that might be the end of the video because, you know, if it's a 30-minute video for you guys, it might be over like an hour and a half for me. Also, thank you to the cars outside for being loud as hell. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Watch out for the next video, next 2 weeks. Big announcement at the start of it, and enjoy the rest of the video. This is the best fishing bowl that we got from doing Moonbase the first time. Of the 4 that we got, this is the best one, and it's a really, really good one, but the other 3 were kind of eh, and I think one of them was actually really bad. But that was for the first attempt. The second completion really got us some good pets. Let me show you guys. This is the one that we have on our EV. This is the one that we have on our Huntress, not our Huntress, our Aura Monk. And this is the one that we have on our Huntress. And because we were able to replace the one on our Aura Monk, I was able to move it over to our, whatchamacallit, Summoner, and now he has a decent fishing bowl as well. So let me quickly go a little bit more in depth with this. This one right here, I put 40 points into its damage from the level ups, but even still, it has another, 140-ish, which means that it's also going to reach 500 in its beam HP. And it's 600 in its rate, which is like the highest you can get, so that's great. It's quad 500 and over in its, you know, rate and its range. Super good. Next is our Aura Monk. This one right here, it's over 500 in its range and its damage, which is super, super nice for an Aura Monk. And it's going to reach the cap for its HP and its rate. So far that's 2 caps from 1 completion, right? Two quad cap fishing bowls. And here's the third one, because we got 3 of them, because we're that lucky. It goes over the cap in its HP, and it's going to reach everything else, and it's going to reach 500 and everything else. There we go. I am no word good. And then our summoner, I already showed you guys. You've already seen these pets. They're not that good. Yeah. I would consider if you were in the same position, it's probably a good idea to just stop doing Moonbase and go straight on to Dread Dungeon. But one, we've only done Moonbase twice, and I feel like I could probably sneak another one into this video. I want to keep these like around 30 minutes each for the moment. And 2, our summoner right now doesn't have 2 quad capping fishing bowls, and I would like him to have one. And right now our Jester's weapon is kind of dookie. Let me show you. This weapon only gets 48 damage per upgrade. A Fusion Rift, which is one of the rewards we get from doing Moonbase, it gets 130, or maybe even higher, damage per upgrade, which is like 3 times more. So if you get a good Fusion Rift, that would be a big upgrade in terms of our player DPS. Also, from Moonbase, you're able to get Genie pets and Animuses, which would also be super, super, super good. Even if we got like a bad Genie, it would be super helpful for any kind of map, to be honest. They're just such good pets. But yeah, we'll definitely be getting a Genie later on, and if we don't get one now, then kind of sucks, but I would really like to get one. So yeah, we're going to be doing Moonbase one more time, going for 2 quad cap fishing bowls on the Summoner, and going for a weapon on our Jester, along with the other pets that I mentioned. So yeah, let's go into another Moonbase run. Beesh. What did I do? What What did I do? Shiny. Oh. Yeah. You are. What? Ah! And that's the last completion of Moonbase for this episode, and probably for most of the series. We got it, boys. We finally got it. It's transcendent, which means we'll need to be level 78 to equip it, and it has negative ability too, which really sucks, but let's go. And it's got a shit ton of upgrades. This is going to be so nice. You guys will see why later. Anyways, so on top of that, we got these fish, and of all of them, I will keep this one and this one because the other ones kind of suck. Maybe this one. Um, yeah, there's no really use case for this at the moment. The fusion rifts, as always, were complete hot garbage, and I'm imagining that the other weapon rewards, garbage, garbage, yep. Sometimes the armor is good, like this could potentially be good, but in general, that's also... Actually, not in general, to be honest, the armor rewards are sometimes pretty solid. There we go. That was... I know we didn't get like another shit ton of super good, which was, oh shit, fissionables, but I think we got this one right here. I'm pretty sure, yeah, this one gets close to quad capping, and it has 600 damage, which is huge. And then this one right here, just about quad caps, and it has over the maximum amount of HP, which is actually like the main thing that I care about. So basically, this fishbowl and this fishbowl, they will replace the ones that my summoner has. And then that's it. Next episode, we are going to be doing Dread Dungeon. Also, big announcement at the end of that episode, or at the start of that episode, in case I didn't say it already. Be ready for that. I'll see you guys in less than 2 weeks, probably, hopefully. Where is the... Oh no. I sold them. Ah!